Thank you for tuning in to Tanaka TV, the best and future biggest fight channel on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like, that comment, that subscribe button. We're trying to get this channel to over 2,000 subs by the end of the year. Currently, we're sitting at about 1,125, 26 subs. So we can do it. We can get to 2K, but we cannot do that without your support. So thank you for those who support this channel, and thank you for those who will support this channel in the future. I truly appreciate it. Now, let's get into Michael Chandler versus Oliveira. This fight is coming up in November 16th at UFC 309. Now, this fight is also shared by John Jones and Miocic. So this card is supposed to be super stacked. People, we're talking, it's super stacked card. How do I view this fight? How do I view this matchup? Well, I think first we have to look at Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler has been absent in the last 2 years. Greatly because of him waiting on Conor McGregor. Now, is this a smart move by Michael Chandler? I think that as far as financially, in his eyes, as we were leading toward this fight between him and Conor McGregor, it was a smart move. Maybe financially. But activity-wise, it was a terrible move. A terrible move, especially because his last fight was a loss against Dustin Poirier back in November 12th. 2022. So we're talking by the time Michael Chandler steps into the octagon again, it would have been over 2 years since he had fought. Now I think that's going to be a very important factor here as he's going up against Charles Oliveira, who hasn't been the most active guy here, people. And granted, his last fight was a loss too against Arman Tsarukyan. But he did fight in April 2024. Now, both of these gentlemen, they both have been on kind of a loss-win kind of streak. But we have to look at who they fought and how they lost. Now, Charles Oliveira, he did lose. He lost by decision, but he did beat Beneil Dariush. He did lose to Islam Makhachev, but, I mean, everybody's been losing to Islam Makhachev. But he also, before that, he beat Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier. He beat Michael Chandler, so keep in mind, people, this is their second time around fighting, and when they fought last, this was in 2021. So this is about 3 years ago. Now, looking at Michael Chandler lost to Dustin Poirier as well. He did beat Tony Ferguson with that crazy front kick to the face. Y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember that where there was a snapshot of Tony Ferguson's face looking off of the front kick of Michael Chandler. Now, if we're talking matchups here, people, I think that Michael Chandler is at a huge disadvantage in my mind. And I say that respectfully, but Michael Chandler is the kind of guy who is very explosive centered. He can be very pot shotty at times. His combinations can be very, in my mind, predictable. A lot of his striking combinations come from a wrestler's base, and I don't know if that's enough to take out Charles Oliveira. And let's say he does tag Charles Oliveira, and Charles Oliveira plans to take this to the ground. I think it's a clean sweep for Charles Oliveira, and I say that. And it's a big statement, right? Because I don't think Michael Chandler is a slouch on the ground. He's a very well-rounded fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's pretty good on the feet, and he's pretty good on the ground. But I think there's levels to this. And when it comes to the stylistic matchup, Charles Oliveira takes the cake. He has good accuracy in the hands. He's gotten very, very polished with his striking over the years. Now, over the years, you might say that Charles Oliveira's weakness was striking, but he's done a great job at improving on that. And nobody's ever even slightly mentioned Charles Oliveira lacking in the grappling game. We're talking about somebody who's probably, top 5 in the grappling department. We're talking about top 2, maybe, currently, for jiu-jitsu practitioners. As soon as he gets your back, you can expect the fight to be over. And that's why I'm going to choose Charles Oliveira for this fight. I think Charles Oliveira, like I said, has really polished up his striking. And he's a very accurate striker. Pretty smart one at that. And with his grappling alongside that, I've got Charles Oliveira winning. And what would I give it percentage-wise? I'll give it 70-30. 70% chance of Charles Oliveira winning this fight. Now, what is Michael Chandler's way of winning this? I see him. I see Michael Chandler possibly knocking out Charles Oliveira, because Charles Oliveira can be kind of chinny at times. He's had a couple moments where he has gotten rocked, and he's been in some bad positions when it comes to striking, but he's always been bailed out when he gets put in those positions by his grappling. And so we haven't seen Charles Oliveira get folded. He's been rocked. And so if Michael Chandler rocks Charles Oliveira, he's still in a bad spot, because he's probably going to try to rush Charles, and that is where Charles wants you. When you get on the ground with Charles Oliveira, it's like you jumping into the ocean not knowing how to swim. It's literally that bad with most fighters outside of Islam Makhachev. Like, he rear naked choked Justin Gaethje. He rear naked choked Dustin Poirier. Okay, he guillotine choked Kevin Lee. And we have to keep in mind that he beat Beneil Dariush with punches. He beat Michael Chandler with punches. And all of these things are mixed in with his striking and his grappling. Charles Oliveira is dangerous. I think the one thing, let me rephrase this. I think this is a must-win for both gentlemen. For maybe slightly different reasons, or they have the same reason of trying to get to the top again. But Michael Chandler needs to win this because he's been absent for so long. And if you're absent for 2 years and then you take an L, where does that leave you? But if Michael Chandler wins, people, that might just push him into title contention, which is crazy because he has not been the most consistent guy. He hasn't. His last win was against Tony Ferguson in 2022, and before that, his last win was against Dan Hooker in 2021. Yeah. This is a must-win for both, but I think more for Michael Chandler. So, comment down below, people, how you see this fight going. I really do see Charles Oliveira probably striking a little bit, but then going for some sort of takedown, maybe even taking Michael Chandler's back standing, and the fight's over from there. I really don't see this fight going to points. I really don't. And so, we'll be seeing this fight very soon. It's in about, 2 months here? So, let's see how it goes. Like I said, comment down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.